la la with your nearness. Surround us with the light of Shabbat. Help us to shed the images and the troubles of the week and enter your day of rest with a calm heart and spirit. We need you now more than ever, and we need each other now more than ever. Remind us of your compassion and love so that we can truly build a world of peace. Shabbat Shalom. We are using tonight the beautiful Reform Siddur, Mishkan Tefillah, and if any of you have it at home, by all means use it. I will call out page numbers periodically. And for those of you who don't have this particular prayer book, hopefully you'll be able to follow along with our service. We're going to continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat now, with Lechuna Ranana, page 130 in our prayer book. Lechuna Ranana Ladonai Nariya Letzor Yisheinu. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song.
Shema
blessing, and we hope that you all have candles in your homes that you can light with us. And I invite our beautiful daughter, Jenny Hickman, to join me in the candle blessing. Come, let us light up our hearts. Come, let us light up our homes. Breathe in and breathe out, making circles of love. Come, let us light up the world. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Shabbos. And I remember when you were a little girl, of course I always have to talk about when she was a little girl, when we would light the candles on Friday night, I taught her to close her eyes and put her hands in front of her eyes, and she would open up her fingers so she could see.
So did I.
And so we would always catch her going like this. Thank you, Jane. We continue with Shalom Aleichem. Source of life, blessing, hope, and love on this Shabbat, calm our lives and still our spirits that we might greet the ministering angels, angels of shalom, wholeness and peace. Bring them into our lives, let them bless us, and may they depart in peace when this Shabbat is concluded. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. Amen.
מלכותה וימליך מלכותה ויכון ויונכון ובכהן כל בית ישראל מעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יש מרב מברך ועל המולל מעל מיה יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמנו קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונקמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן.
Rise for our call to prayer.
ברוך אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד אמן.
Please be seated. 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hamachari, Haravi. We enter God's love song.
Torah
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת. Top of 157, where we're standing on the parted shores of history. We still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Ozi v'zimrat Yah, my strength balanced with the song of God will be my salvation. Words and melody, Rabbi Shefa Gold. She said, we pray for peace to carry us through the night. We imagine a canopy of peace that covers us like a comforting blanket and holds us snug through the dark night until dawn. We pray for safety and tender reassurances that all will be well. This two-part round carries us to the far reaches of the universe and brings us back into the rhythmic pulse of our hearts. And now, as our rabbis taught us, it's important for us to feel joy on Shabbat. And so now that we prayed our nighttime prayer for protection, we turn to our Yismachu, and I invite Jenny back to join us in this my favorite version of Yismachu.
I think everybody. You all right there, kid?
I'm good.
The return of Bathsheba. Yismechu b'malekutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'koreh Shabbat. Yismechu b'malekutecha, shomre, shomre, shomre Shabbat, v'koreh Shabbat. Shomre, shomre, shomre
door. Please rise and face east if you can.
We are facing east. Look behind you. Whoops, that may not work. Adonai, Shabbat tiftach, officiated hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Vahimotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGimur, HaNorah, Ve'Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher HaSeavot V'Imot, U'mevir Li'V'Lehem, V'Ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, V'Chozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mikael HaKol Ata Rav Loshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Marit HaGashem, Mikalkel Chayim B'Hesed, Mikael HaKol B'Rakamim Rabim, Omech Noflim Brofei Olim, U'Matir HaTurim, U'Mkayem Emunato Livanei Ahar, Mikama Kabal Geburot, U'Mino Melach, Melech Memit, U'Mkayet, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, Ve'ne'emanata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Michael.
Where might I go to find you, exalted hidden one? Yet where would I not go to find you, ever-present, eternal one? My heart cries out to you. Please draw near to me. The moment I reach out for you, I find you reaching in for me.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. וילכו לשמיים והארץ וכל צבאם. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans.
Shock us, Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred.
Wake us, O God, shake us from the sweet, sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears.
Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality.
Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Amen.
We're on the bottom of 175. Oh God, you are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and to do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'ortecha levarecha b'yiranav. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, amarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Continue now with thoughts of our loved ones who are ill. And there are so many people in our own congregation and all over the world who are so ill tonight. I have a special prayer I want to share with you. It was written by a wonderful rabbi, Gila Rezel Raphael. And this is what she wrote. It's a prayer in the midst of a pandemic. I pray that all my loved ones and family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, communities, city, country, and people of the world stay safe from harm. I pray for the healthcare workers and their families, first responders and those that serve day in and day out, are free from disease and don't take it home to their families. I pray that the policymakers make good decisions. I pray that science is supported and research funded, that we find a vaccine soon and that it be used to make peace between nations, that we overcome our fears and irrational reactions and are able to think clearly and take healthy precautions, that we all find things to do during our time out of social isolation, like a new hobby, art, music, or projects we have neglected, that we find ways to stay connected to those that live alone, that we enjoy each other's company, that we all have enough to eat during this time, and that the most vulnerable of our population do not suffer with paltry paychecks, that deaths decline from flu and other diseases because we are taking better precautions. I pray that we find the moral courage to help each other through this, that our anxiety doesn't lead to blaming others, and that we still find moments of humor and joy amidst the uncertainty. I pray that we remember we are a resilient species, having survived plagues and wars and famines and other hardships through the centuries, that we overcome our fears of death, realizing it's a natural end to this chapter of our soul's journey, no matter what way we exit. Amen. And tonight we take within our hearts for Refuah Shalema, Karen Atlas, Pat Barnes, Sue Cohn, John Del Valle, Eve Alfasi, Rudolph Fabish, Beverly Friedberg, Jean Friedman, Jack Garfield, Deborah Goldstein, Nicole Greenblatt, Celia Grossman, Mike Colobris, Fran Kassler Delmore, Lee Caston, Sam Kay, Violet Kay, Robert Crayling, Diana Landau, Lori Licker, Mayor Malka, Nancy McKinley, Cheryl Mendelson, Edward Nattenberg, Harry Rosenblatt, Stuart Rossinger, Pam Siegel, Patty Siegel, Kelsey Sieber, Erin Jane Spear, David Slotkin, Alan Victor, Sarah Jane Victor, Jeff Wallach, Brian Wasserman, Arthur Weinberger, and Shelby Wilson. And if there are other names of loved ones, take them within your heart now, speak them out loud as the Cantor chants the Mishabera.
And in our hearts also, and in my hearts, we pray for the heroes, the medical workers, doctors, nurses, who are walking daily into the Boca Alupo, into the wolf's mouth, with little protection. May the angel of indifference and stupidity and denial of truth pass safely over our homes. Ishaberat avotenu Abraham Zaraonem Uyavarech ve'yareh et kol hagorim HaKadosh Baruch Hu yavaler rachamim mahem וישלח להם רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, ותחשר כולל ישראל, השתה בהגנה ובזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן, ונאמר אמן.
Coronavirus. We are all living through this modern day plague, and how we come out of it will determine the course of our world for decades to come. Will we forever be afraid to hug a stranger? Will we make the wide berth around all our encounters? Will we only be able to look at the face of our neighbor from 6 feet away? This is so hard. Human beings were meant to hug. Many experts say that we need at least 8 hugs a day in order to be healthy. Hugging therapy, I call it. It can be very healing. And there is reason to back up my claim that it is extremely effective at healing sickness and disease and loneliness, depression, anxiety, and stress. It's always been my motto. I don't know how I'm going to be able to stop hugging people when all this insanity ends, or looking deeply and closely into someone's face and seeing their light. I have been spending my days on Zoom. On Zoom, you can look very deeply into other people's faces, but you can't hug. And each face that looms on my screen before me is the face of humanity's struggle, each in his or her own way. This Sunday, my husband and I will officiate at our first Zoom room funeral. A man was dying. A chaplain reached out to me from Health First Hospice, and a family that's scattered across a diseased country will be able to come together to honor their loved one. During staff meetings and board meetings and congregants reaching out for help and bat mitzvah lessons, all online, I can see all the faces. And I pray that those who look at me can feel the hug that I'm trying to give them through cyberspace. In this week's Torah portion, we don't even have to go farther than the first word to find a face. What? Well, let me explain. We enter into the book of holiness this week, Vayikra. The very first word in the book is the word Vayikra, which means, and God called. What is most curious is the little aleph that we find at the end of this word. And I'm going to show you the word. Here's the word Vayikra, as it would look in the Torah, and here is the little aleph at the very end. There are many explanations from our sages of blessed imagination, but the Kabbalistic one, the mystical one, is the one I like the best. So let's look at the Aleph. Here is the Aleph. Aleph is one of two letters in the Hebrew alphabet that is silent. Aleph is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it's also the first letter of the first utterance of the Ten Commandments. The master historian of Kabbalah, Gershom Scholem, teaches that Aleph is technically not silent. Instead, it is the noise of the larynx clicking into gear, and so the mother of all articulate speech. You can try it yourself at home. If you go like that, you can feel something wanting to come out. It may also just be the softest audible noise in the universe. The ancient study of the Gematria, which is Jewish numerology, recognizes that the letters in the alphabet are also numbers. So Aleph is 1 and Bet is 2 and so on. So according to the Gematria, the name of God is the number 26. Aleph is also a 26, a very important number in Kabbalistic studies. Finally, we discovered that the letters that make up an Aleph are 2 Vavs and a Yud. So here's a Vav, here's another Vav, and there's the Yud, the little Yud. So now I'm going to show you, I have all my little props. If you configure the 2 Vavs and the Yud, you get this. And this Aleph resembles the human face. Created in the image of God, the psalmist writes in Psalm 16, I set the name of Adonai before me continually. This may mean simply to look at one another is to see God's face. What is curious to me is the name coronavirus. For you see, coronaviruses derive their name from the fact that under electron microscopic examination, each virion is surrounded by a corona. But the word corona actually means halo or crown. So when we gaze at a person's face, we can see God, and we can see the halo or the aura crowning each person too. Whether we be on Zoom or FaceTime, or we're watching someone on TV, or we're gazing at our loved ones, the light that shines from each person his or her halo is there. The coronavirus may have robbed us temporarily of our ability to hug and hold our loved ones, but we can still see God's light shining out from each face. It is for that on this holy Shabbat I am grateful. May the Holy One of Blessings help us all to cling to what makes each of us and our holy world filled with God's light. May we be guided with the wisdom of the ages as we contemplate each other's faces. Amen.
And to think I ever complained about all the nights of driving her to dance lessons, this lesson, and that lesson. Before that, the older one was flute lessons. I don't know. I wanted to take a moment because we're experimenting with new technology and with the use of the internet and streaming live. And just to remind you that I think within a few minutes or a half an hour or so, this service will be again available up on YouTube, and it will be up for you to watch by going to the Temple Israel website or however you got to us, and you can see it any time you want. You can even slide by me and go on to the next. But I wanted to thank Larry Feinberg, and especially tonight Steve Perlman, who provided the camera that I'm looking into and is assisting us in setting up this streaming, which is so important. We can't now smell the inside of the synagogue, and I understand that. I love the smell. This is a book that was published in 1888. I can't read this book in a tablet, download it. I have to smell the past on it, and I like the feel of the Siddur. But when we can't do that, we have to be grateful for this. And the time will come soon when we will feel the Siddur and love the smell of the past coming from it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. And also, I would like to announce that we are going to do a virtual Seder the second night of Passover, and it's going to be on April 9th at 6 p.m. right from our dining room, which is back over that way. So we'll be setting everything up for a Seder, and we hope you'll join us. We won't be able to provide you food through the video, but we can do all of our prayers together and have a great time. And then, of course, you can enjoy the foods that you have prepared. So more information will be coming about this very soon. We're going to continue now with our concluding prayers. If you have a prayer book, it's on page 586 in the Mishkan Tefillah. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם כגיינו כהם, וגבר עלינו תכל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בכל המרמים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, עמק מלכנו אפזולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל אדונך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Think of our loved ones now, whom death has recently taken from us. During the period of Shiloshim, Nora MacDonald, mother of John MacDonald and grandmother of Shoshana Amoris, and Jacques Asio, husband of Karen Asio. And those who died at the season in years past, in beloved memory, Kelly Adams, Samuel Byrne-Burr, David Davis, Lewis Kenner, Howard Ott, Eugene Rossinger, Evelyn Ruth Slotkin, Martin Stokler, Ben Victor. Please call out the names of other names that you may have that you'd like to share with us. Zikronam livracha, may their memories all be for a blessing. We're going to rise now for our mourner's Kaddish, and it is our tradition for all who are comfortable to rise. There are so many people who have no one left to say Kaddish for them. If you're in our Mishkan Tefillah prayer book, it's on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbi, ve'olma tivrach hirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomecho, uv'chayei kol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach, le'alam u'lalmei almayel. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'rihu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata dam yiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom v'imrumav, hu ya'aseh shalom.
And so we're going to close our service tonight with the Oseh Shalom that most of you know by Naomi Hirsch and Nurit Hirsch, rather. And so we invite Ms. Jenny back to join us in leading us in the Oseh Shalom. glass of wine, a kiddush cup with wine in it or grape juice, and a challah bread. And so we'll say our blessing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotot v'ratzavanu v'shavat kodsho ve'ahavu ratzon hinhilanu zikaron le'maseh v'bretzit ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'e kodesh ze'yitziat Mitzrayim kilanu v'ara etanu kidashta mikol ha'im v'kavat kodsheha v'rava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Michaelet HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim! Yummy. I want to hear those lips smacking. And here's our challah bread. So we'll all drink together in our motzi. Ha-motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon, enjoy your Shabbat dinner and your Shabbat. May it bring you peace and joy and health and happiness. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yikunecha. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God grant you peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom. See you next week.
I'll leave the candles burning for just a few more minutes. And when we get out of the way, such a pretty sight.